Hi, my name is Enrique Rivera and I am going to talk about the Cold War. Okay, first of all, the Cold War was a long period of tension between the democratic of the Western world and the communist countries of Eastern Europe. The West was led by the United States and Eastern Europe was led by the Soviet Union. These two countries became known as superpowers, although the two superpowers never officially declared war on each other. They fought indirectly in proxy wars, the arms race and the space race. What is? Okay, the Cold War refers to the political, economic, and military tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union. Important dates. First, we're going to start with the U-2 incident. This was on May 1, 1960, when the Soviets shot directly at US soldier, the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union shot down a US U-2 reconnaissance plane and argued that it was an aggressive flight. This event is extremely important to the Cold War because it was one of the few times the Soviets did a direct and physical damage to an American. They saw that he was flying low enough to hit it with a missile. Obviously, this caused a lot of tension in the relation. Cuban Missile Crisis, October 14. All started when a U-2 spy plane flying over Cuba discovered a nuclear missile sites under construction. These missiles would have been capable of quickly reaching different countries. USA and Cuba were prepared for attacking each other. Both countries had enough nuclear power to do a lot of damage. It was until October 28 when Khrushchev announced that they were withdrawing the missiles from Cuba. In the spring of 1963, the US quietly removed the missiles from Turkey that exactly threatened the Soviet Union. Sputnik Crisis. The Sputnik crisis was the American reaction to the success of the Sputnik program. It was a key Cold War event that began on October 4, 1957, when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first artificial Earth satellite. The Americans were scared of this because of the whole possibilities it has, for example, launching a missile. This led to the space race, where big advances were saw, like the first human launch to space. Non-Proliferation Treaty. International treaty whose objective was to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, to promote cooperation of the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, and further the goal of achieving nuclear disarmament and general and complete disarmament. Countries started signing it in 1968 and it came into effect in 1970. On 11 May 1995, the treaty was extended indefinitely. A total of 190 parties were joined to this treaty. The Berlin Wall falls. It was when Egon Krenz decided against violence and instead ordered a relaxation of travel restrictions to the Berlin Wall in order to try and diffuse rising tensions. A Politburo member named Schabowski briefed the media on November 9, 1989, on the swiftly written decree. He misinterpreted what it said, announcing that East Germans could freely use all border crossing to permanently exit the nation. The falling of the wall symbolized the end of the Cold War and the end of the Iron Curtain's dominance. This was important to the Cold War because it signaled the end. After this, the Soviet Union collapsed and the US could finally exist in peace without fear. Now, talking about capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system. This system is for dealing with money and wealth. In capitalist countries, citizens, not governments, own and run companies. These companies compete with other companies for business. They decide which goods and services to provide. They also decide how much to charge for the goods and services and where to sell them. Companies do all these things to make money for their owners. People who use their money to start or run companies are called capitalists. It was Adam Smith who noticed that mercantilism was not a force of development and change, but a regressive system that was creating trade imbalances between nations and keeping them from advancing. His ideas for free market opened the world to capitalism. Nowadays, capitalism is the most popular economic system. Communism. Communism is a political and economic ideology that searches to replace private property and profit-based economy with public ownership and communal control of at least the major means of production. Most widely identified with Karl Marx, who outlined the system with Friedrich Engels in the Communist Manifesto of 1948. Marx's embrace of communism was motivated in part by the inequities caused by the Industrial Revolution. Now I am going to make an interview to my cousin Arturo Rivera. Okay, first question. What do you know about the Cold War?
I know it was a large period of tense moments between different countries. The Cold War was a state of non-violent hostility between two nations.
Next question. Which were the two countries involved on this war?
I think it was the USA and the Soviet Union.
Okay, and what do you think about all this conflict?
Well, the Cold War wasn't good at all. It caused global crisis and a lot of people lost their lives. I think these events helped the world to reorganize the economic and political systems. Thanks to this period, the world have the technology and evolution that we know these days. Also, we can see the impact that the period led to the global powers.
Why do you think these countries attacked each other?
They were big potential countries who were fighting to be the best nation in technological advances.
Okay, last question. When does this war start and finish?
I think it was between approximately 1947 and 1991.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My opinion about this. Okay, I think this period of war was a very tense moment for everyone. At this period, there were a lot of technological and scientific advances. Countries were exponentially growing and new ideologies were taking popularity. These new ideologies were the opposite, capitalism and communism, each one with different results. I think we are lucky that Mexico adapt the capitalist ideology because we can have our own things with our effort. Thank you very much.